Boom. Okay, everybody, welcome to the show. I'm laughing because I just looked at a thing. What's her name? Dr. Jebra Fauché did a thing, says, for the love of God, like, we all hands on deck, we must protect Cracker Jack. And so I showed the Cracker Jack because Cracker Barrel thing is becoming a liberal took it over and excuse me, and it's in the crapper. And so she says, we got to protect this Jack and the Cracker Jack. What is it? Cracker Jack. A Cracker Jack's logo. It's next. We got to protect that at all. So I changed it from Cracker Jack to Cracker Jill and put the trans flag on it and all that. I made a girl and I turned the little dog into a cat. I go too late. Too late. It's too late. You have fun out there with the social media. Anyway, welcome everybody. Big news day today is So It Begins. John Bolton, warmonger at large, has had his home raided. Who's the guy that was friends with the funny character Rush Limbaugh? Not Rush Limbaugh, but the other one. He's an idiot. The frog, the sex frog guy. Anyway, InfoWars guy.
Oh, Alex Jones?
Alex Jones. I don't follow. I'm not a fan of Alex Jones anyway. There's that picture of him where he's bare chest. He's got his black gloves on and he's like, walking in the street somewhere. It's just bizarre. Anyway, so his little friend, Roger Stone, got his place raided a while back. Now, I don't want to open up with that one. I'm going to, what I prefer to open the show. That's the big story today. Okay. I want to really nail that. But really what I want to start off with is this amazing little piece of footage with Ed Martin. And Ed Martin has been just doing outstanding work. He's a DA, and he is working hard for the Trump administration, taking names, gathering bad guys. So I want to start the show just with because it summarized so much that I want to see. But basically, the hunters have become the hunted. We're doing a forward press. We've got all the cards. Everything is just going our way right now. It is unbelievable. Panic in D.C. It is starting to happen. We got amazing stories. I just can't believe how great the news is right now. But anyway, let's roll the first bit. So here it is. This is just a great bit. Ed Martin tells Matt Gaetz that justice is coming for Russiagate, for the stolen election, for J6 and all of it. We've never seen anything like it, quote unquote. The J6 committee, Liz Cheney, Adam Schiff weaponized their power to destroy innocent Americans. They must pay dearly. Let's make it big. This is on.
Are you confident with what you're able to get access to and assess that you're going to be able to very thoroughly make your prosecutorial judgments?
Well, look, I've been involved with our mutual friend Tulsi Gabbard at DNI, and she has gone, and I hope people have tracked what I call the birthday of the Russia hoax, which was revealed by Tulsi. It actually was born on Friday, December 9th, 2016, and it was done by the Obama White House in a special meeting, aided by the Washington Post. This is in the record. This is indisputable. This is not like me and you debating. And what we go forward from there, and you say that was the Russia hoax that was used to almost cripple the Trump administration by design. Then you go forward to 2020, and you say, what happened on January 6th and afterwards? And to your point, Matt, what they did with this select committee was they weaponized the power of Congress. They were aided by the media, and they were often aided by the Article III courts and the prosecutors. And they took the hoax and they pounded out a message. And frankly, they brainwashed 40% of the country, 50% of the country. There's still people are still sick with it because they were lied. So what is our goal? One is to hold people that do things that are destructive and against the law accountable. I want to do that. We're going to do that. I promise you. But we're also trying to get to the truth. And so when you have a Tulsi Gabbard who can say, here was some of the truth, I can tell you, we've been going through the records, emails of this Department of Justice from the Biden era, and we're seeing who was doing what. I'll give you a quick example. They put everybody on January 6th that was arrested, minus maybe 100, onto the terrorism watch list. And when you said, wait a second, you're on the terrorism watch list, why? You're supposed to be a terrorist or a member of a terrorist group or another criteria. The other criteria was, we just wanted to put you on. And when you were pardoned by Donald Trump, all 1,500 plus went off the terrorism watch list. Well, that just proves it wasn't a terrorism watch list. It's a list to punish you when you go to the airport, and that's what they did. We have a number. We have numbers that the IRS were auditing J6 targets in a higher percentage than other groups. This is all the use of government against the people. And I'll just finish with this, Matt. You've seen this, you know this, you've been aware of it, but we've never seen what happened in the Biden administration, the use of government against the American people. We've never seen it in our history. And so, am I confident we're going to get to the bottom of it? Yes, because I got to get up in the morning early and work hard all day. But it is a fight, and it is a fight because people have deleted, they've disappeared, they've moved on, they've tried to say, don't talk about it, get on with it. President Trump has said, we're going to get to the bottom of it. I'm also involved in the 2020 election and the 2016 election to get to the bottom of what happened. We're going to have grand juries. We're going to pull people in. And the one thing I'll say over and over again, Matt, it won't surprise you, it's the same people that were at the Russia hoax birthday party. It's the same people overlapping over and over again. And what Rudy Giuliani said once, and he knows better than anybody in our American history, when you put these people together and they're always working together, that's called an enterprise. That's called a criminal enterprise. And you're in territory where everybody's held accountable for the whole of it. And that's what we're seeing.
All right. So they're getting to the bottom is what he's saying. Trump wants to get to the bottom. Things are happening. And you know, what's happening, and here's something that proves something, is they've raided this idiot John Bolton's place today. What's interesting, and there's photographs of them leaving the residence with boxes. They were there for like 7 hours going over that place. You know, it's a boomerang. Fuck around, find out everything they did, the full court press on Trump, raiding Mar-a-Lago, all of that. Those guys, payback's a bitch. It's happening. I can't tell you how happy and how confident I am of this administration to get to the bottom. And all these liberals have said, but we already investigated and there was nothing. And this whole thing, what he was saying there about the January 6th committee, I had one of my liberal pals saying, Rachel, have you watched the January 6th today? Oh, you don't care what's going on when it's not your side. The truth of it. The truth of January 6th, it was set up. It was a criminal enterprise. Heads are going to roll. Justice is coming. Look out. You people are going down, and I couldn't be happier about it. Praise God, and God bless President Donald John Trump. Take away anything that you want from Ed Martin there, Blake, and then we'll go into
I'm looking enviously from across the border going, I wish we had the same thing going on in Canada at the same time, because it's a cartel. It's a cross-border cartel. I saw today exactly what we've been watching, the foreign influence, but from the Canadian side into the US. This is how you know how upset they are when they are condemning the Canadian media is condemning the Trump administration and the DOJ for going after Bolton. And I went, there you go. Every single day, these guys complained about Americans coming into the Canadian election, supporting the Conservatives or whatever it might be. And all of a sudden they're getting a taste of their own medicine. And we're seeing it just the opposite, that they've been working in concert, liberals and Democrats in North America, to create this criminal, and it is criminal, element to run our political institutions to a one-party state system. And finally, the lid is being blown off. And this is great because we'll finally see some people being arrested, being charged, and hopefully convicted. And I take that even a step further. They should double the penalty of conviction for falsifying evidence against somebody that would have put them in jail for 20 years. We'll give them 40, because they have laws, even in old liberal California. If a police officer creates fake evidence for a murder suspect, it is the death penalty for a police officer to falsify evidence in a homicide So essentially, it should go the same way with these guys. They pull any kind of crap like that, treasonous kind of charges, double it against them, hit them hard. They should never see the light of day again, because this is to protect. And in liberal language, it's about democracy. That's right. It's about protecting your democracy, or better yet, your constitutional republic, not just a democracy. So hopefully this is it. They'll finally blow the lid off these guys.
I think it's happening. Yeah.
And I think Trump is using part of the tariffs and all that to go after some of these guys who globally have worked in concert with these clowns to do this. It is a massive organized crime ring that we call globalists today. They've been working in concert to do this. And finally, we're going to get to the bottom of it. I'm happy to see that. But again, you Americans, you finally got an administration that cares about justice.
Yeah, and it's not the first term of Trump with people like Mike Pence and traitors in every corner, Bill Barr, and people like Bolton himself was part of Trump's administration. Justice is coming. There's a whole new sheriff in town. I
hope they go all the way back. Get the new stuff first, then move back further.
It's all gone.
Yeah, I want to see Bush Cheney go down, because the Cheneys were a corrupt family as well. I mean, all of them, the whole thing.
Liz Cheney for sure is going down, but it's dominoes. It was the first thing to fall. You got to do it piece by piece.
That's what I mean. I start now, get these guys, and move back.
And you've got to educate the public as to what was happening, because as Ed Martin says, the public was brainwashed. And I've dealt with people that have been brainwashed by leftist rhetoric, the Trump derangement syndrome, et cetera, et cetera. It's illogical. It's not critical thinking. It's just simply knee-jerk psycho-emotional responses. And friends of ours, a mutual friend of ours who shall remain nameless, I remember talking to this individual a long time ago. I go, well, why don't you like Trump? What's your thing with Trump? I don't know. I just don't like him. That was all they could go. There's no evidence. All they could do. I just don't like him. A Canadian, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay, so can you bring us up the first one? I want to roll through these, Blake, kind of a bunch of them, and then we'll take them all en masse.
Sounds good.
So it's going to be NewYorkPost.com. John Bolton solved high-profile national security probe. So that's right underneath the Ed Martin one. All right, let's take a look here. And boom, you got a lot of commercials, a lot of ads. There you go. Scroll down there from there. Okay, there you go. FBI raids ex-national security advisor John Bolton Solomon classified documents probe. No one is above the law. This is what the Democrats were loving to say. This was their cry. This was their rallying point. No one's above the law. Let's get Trump. Well, boomerangs happen. It's coming back to hit you right in the ass. So Bolton being hit. Okay, we're going to rapid fire these. Okay, the next one up after that is Roger Stone reacts. Roger Stone, it was had the FBI raid his place 5 o'clock in the morning for no reason other than that he was a friend with Donald Trump, as the comment was made up here. Cord goes, Roger Stone was only guilty of being a friend of Trump. It's crazy what they did to him. Not only did they raid his place, but CNN was there ready on the spot to film the whole thing for posterity as it went down. Roger Stone writes, good morning, John Bolton. How does it feel to have your home raided at 6 o'clock in the morning? And then he goes on to say, wait, where was CNN? And Sue, if you could put a like and just retweet that, just like that and retweet that. That is, or repost that.
Didn't they not show up quite a bit later?
Yeah, they showed up
to the party.
Yeah, our guys showed up later. But anyway, the point is that, I feel good for Roger Stone. This is some vindication for him. How does it feel now that you're the target, Bolton? And Bolton's one of those idiots that went out on media saying, this is a good thing. This is, Roger Stone is beautiful. Lock him up, handcuffs. The leftists were all celebrating all this stuff as they traipsed our people off. Steve Bannon went to jail. A number of patriots went to jail. Under the corruption of the Biden administration, the criminal enterprise known as the Biden administration. Let's do Bongino and Cash. We're just kind of going in a row. Boom, boom, boom.
And it wasn't just jail, too, but we'll cover that, too. It was financial.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, they crippled. They did everything. Public corruption will not be tolerated. Dan Bongino in response to FBI Director Kash Patel. No one is above the law. FBI agents are on a mission. The time for accountability is finally here. Thank you, Dan. Matt Van Swal. So again, accountability, we're on it. It's happening. I couldn't be happier about this. Okay, we got another one. There should be one more right after it. Oh yeah, you know what was really good? Okay, as Catherine Herridge's. Get Catherine Herridge on this. Herridge on Bolton. And then we'll leave off with this will be the final one that I'll play, because Catherine Herridge kind of puts things in perspective as to what happened, and it answers the question, well, was anything real before, or wasn't this already investigated thoroughly by the FBI? Developing, understand the FBI cache, reopened a high profile. Here's the deal. Reopened a high profile national security case involving former national security advisor John Bolton that was shut down by the Biden administration. I'm told FBI raids were being conducted and it involves government records. FBI declined to comment. A source familiar with the matter said it's a national security investigation involving classified documents and potential leaks. Earlier on X, Kash Patel, posted, no one is above the law, FBI agents on a mission. We just read that. Patel has made a public commitment to destroy weaponized government, reaching out to Bolton and team for comment. So this is a reopened investigation. Let's go back up to that point, Sue. Just scroll up on that. And you'll see it there where she goes, yeah, that he has reopened. Can you highlight that if you run your mouse over that? Reopened. Yeah, just that reopened is what I wanted, but that's okay. Reopened high profile. So it was closed. Biden shut it down, but Patel's having none of it. They're opening it because there is a there. They're in deep trouble. They're in deep trouble. All right. So Blake, that's the whole story. Bolton under investigation, national security violation, leaking of government classified documents. We know there's a lot of declassification that hadn't occurred, but people are running loose and free with classified information to feed it to media so that they can weaponize it against the Trump administration, both first and second terms. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's exactly what they were doing, weaponizing many aspects of the full power of the federal government. It wasn't just in the Justice Department, but they were also weaponizing the IRS. They started using it to go after people's financial records and trying to cripple them financially.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot that's going to be coming out, and it has to move quickly. And people might be going, why is he doing this so fast? Why is he going out? Well, because there's a midterm election coming up. If this is left festering all the way through the midterms and nothing's being done, number one, you got to cripple the criminals in the background so they can't keep running their operations illegally. So you got to bust them, break them up, smash them so they no longer have that power, so they can go into a midterm election with some true supporters of the United States who love America and will protect the integrity of the Constitution and not get filled up with a bunch of rhinos or far left lunatics that are working for the corrupt establishment on the Democrat side. So this is big. This is huge, and it's got to keep rolling. And, it's good to see Bolton. I never liked him. He's that guy that I think a lot of people attribute to, the weapons of mass destruction.
He's part of that.
For Iraq, which caused an entire $1 trillion war into taking over Iraq, which was an unnecessary invasion. Sad that many veterans today, those that lost their lives and those who were injured, for really a useless war that did nothing but just expand the influence of terror all around Middle East and around the world. It actually was the catalyst, the point that expanded it everywhere. And I've heard the argument back then from the neocons, that this is why they didn't want Trump, right? This is it. He didn't want wars. He wanted people making money. He wanted everybody happy. He was anti-establishment. He's about freedom and liberty and individual freedom and liberty, which is more important, not collectivism or corporate monopolies. This guy, he's an anomaly. He is an anomaly in the big billionaire class world, because most of those guys, they don't have to compete anymore, right? They don't. They got corporate shills that go in and work with government to build up their monopolies, and this is the power that they had. This could open up a can of worms like we've never seen before in history when they start digging in all the front layer, the J6, the whole Russia gate, all the stuff that they went after Trump and his allies full tilt. But this is going to open up investigations into insider trading. None of these politicians should be safe from that. When they they go in with $175,000 a year salary and leave worth $400 million. There's a problem. That's Obama. That's Biden. That's all of those guys became extremely wealthy, where President Trump is the only guy at the end of his first term that lost money being a president. Yeah. Right? They all walk out gazillionaires. Yeah. He loses money and they do it. So let's just say I'd have to give him, anybody who might be condemning Trump, that should be a strike in the positive mark, even if you don't like him. Say, hey, he doesn't take the money. He gives away his salary. So it shows some integrity there. He doesn't need the money. He's doing it because he cares. And you know what? Yeah. At his point in his age in life, he's got nothing to lose.
He could be golfing.
Yeah, he could be doing whatever he wanted at this point. Like, he doesn't, but I think he loves America, and that's been his point. And
he made something like $3 billion or $5 billion in between in the 4 years when he wasn't president. He just started making money again immediately after he left office. He doesn't need the president. He doesn't need to leverage the presidency like so many of these corrupt politicians to, engorge themselves and enlarge their own parameters.
Well, I think he came out of his own frustration, right? Dealing with New York Democrats, right? Which were out there with their hands out. He knew how corrupt the whole system was. And when he even admitted, this is how they do things in New York. If you want to get anything done in New York, you gotta pay people off.
There is really interesting things with the Democrat Party. Now, they are not gaining as many people as the Republicans. More people are joining the Republican Party than the Democrat Party right now. The Democrats are hurting. There's a whole bunch of gerrymandering. I guess California, Newsom went and gerrymander. He's trying to gerrymander California to the fullest extent it's capable of doing. But it's already so gerrymandered there that the increase will be like 5 seats max. The Republicans have a whole bunch of untapped resources. If they want to play that corrupt game, they can do it as well, to a point where the Democrats have no rejoinder. Absolutely fantastic. Great news coming out of a meeting. Trump was talking about the World Cup, America hosting, Canada hosting, Mexico. Excuse me. Joint hosting effort happening this next year. Here's the deal. The National Guard is in D.C. doing great works, cleaning the joint up. For the first time in anyone's recorded memory, there was not a single murder in Washington, D.C. over the 1 week that the National Guard's been going out there. But great news on the horizon. Next up, Chicago. Before I go there, this is a revolution, Blake. This is an absolute revolution. Trump is going right into the Democrat strongholds where they aren't cleaning up their crime, where these are hotbeds for crime. Where every time there's 4th of July, a long weekend, they go, geez, I wonder how many people are going to get shot in Chicago this week.
Yeah.
So it's become a byword. It's become a cliche. Here we go. Breaking. President Trump says he'll deploy the National Guard to Chicago and New York once the D.C. operation concludes. Chicago's a mess. We'll straighten that one out next. Then we'll help with New York. Let's play the clip. Make it big and play the clip.
To do, we have to. And after we do this, we'll...
Oh, and keep an eye on the stock market.
So we're going to make our country very safe. We're going to make our cities very, very safe. Chicago's a mess. You have an incompetent mayor, grossly incompetent. and we'll straighten that one out probably next. That'll be our next one after this, and it won't even be tough. And the people in Chicago, Mr. Vice President, are screaming for us to come. They're wearing red hats, just like this one, but they're wearing red hats. African-American ladies, beautiful ladies, are saying, please, President Trump, come to Chicago. Please. I did great with the black vote, as you know, and they want something to happen. So I think Chicago will be our next, and then we'll help with New York, and we're going to help with, and I think a lot of these people that you see on television, they're, including the people in this audience, they'll say bad things about me, and then they'll say, thank God he's here, because half of them got mugged.
Wow. Yep. So this is a plan. This is a rollout. This is a thing. This is politicking as well. What a statement. And as the president is saying, you know, you've got African Americans, people, you know, again, he did very well with the black vote. That's why he's president. He got the black vote, especially black males. Now, cleaning up DC, then you get DC all cleaned up. It's amazing. And then you've got Janine Pirro, you got Pam Bondi, and these ladies are coming out saying we got so many arrests that were done last night. Each night they are reporting on how many arrests were made. They're cleaning. There's a new sheriff in town. His name's Donald John Trump, and he's doing outstanding work. And people can see the difference. And what do you think's happening to the psychology of the black people? Why are we dying every fucking weekend? And now we aren't dying anymore because something's actually been done to make our streets safer. We kind of like safe streets. There's a lot of videos going viral.
What happens when the National Guard leaves? Does everything go back to normal? Or have they changed the way the local police forces are operating under the mayor? So what's happening that's going to be long-term for these people? The National Guard can't stay there forever.
I don't think that you're going to see permanent change. I think it's going to be a statement as they go in, and people are going to see that it can be done. Yep. So what's business as usual?
So they're basically being shamed into like fixing their mess that they're in.
Or it's going to cost them votes. How come Trump came in with his people and cleaned up the fucking joint? What are you guys doing who we voted for? Fellow black person running our city.
Right.
Well, the problem is the corruption so deep in those cities that many of the police are corrupt as well. Not all, of course. The vast majority, I'm sure not. But the leadership is allied to the Democratic machine. Exactly. They're appointed, and let's face it. I mean, we see this in a lot of liberal cities, even in Canada, where the drug cartels play a part of their funding machine. That's just part of it. And I think Trump's had enough of the drugs. He's had enough with the corruption in these cities, because there's a poverty industry built into it as well, where they want to keep people in poverty to maintain their funding. And they keep expanding these bureaucratic and organizations that live off of poverty. He wants people to be healthy. He wants them to be, obviously, with RFK Jr. involved. He wants people to be financially secure, be able to build their own businesses, have the American dream. Anybody, not people like the Democrats want to make it out to be, but no, everyone. He wants everyone to be successful, because everyone working hard and being successful stops crime. It doesn't permanently stop all of it, because there's always going to be outliers, but it reduces it to a point where the society becomes more inwardly focused to protect each other. You start protecting your neighbors, caring about your neighbors, because you all want the same thing. You want security, right? You want your family to be secure. You want your grandmother and grandpa to be secure. You don't want to be walking down the streets and having thugs beating people up and getting your kids hooked on fentanyl and wrecking destroying your high schools. I mean, these people, it's going to take some time, but I agree. I think the show of force is exactly that. It's showing to the local population, you can do this. I shouldn't have to do this, but you can do it, and you can have safe streets again. Just clean up your backyard now. Clean up the bad politicians. Get the right people in charge. As you said, get a new sheriff in town for Chicago, new sheriff in town for Los Angeles.
Well, I think this is going to happen. I think this is a wake-up call. When you go in and you clean DC up, the population in Washington, D.C. is going to see what a difference this made. Is it better? Are you enjoying not being dead? You know, whoa, this is a plus for me. And you got people, there's videos going with black kids coming out going, hey man, get here, Trump. You know, they're doing their thing. All right. So Scoozy's got some for me. God knows what she's got. Let's see. What is this? Justin are now posing for photos with National Guard, National Mall. It's absolutely epic. Turns out Americans are actually very appreciative of what President Trump did by securing DC. The media lied again, to no one's surprise. And so people are lining up. There's the National Guard getting their picture taken outside National Monument. So
yeah,
fantastic stuff. And there's a lot of videos of black kids going out, hey, yo, Trump, you know, and doing the thing. It's very cool to see.
Well,
so we're going to see Chicago, New York, LA, and believe it, he's going to go in there. And it's going to be an embarrassment to those longtime Democrat strongholds where they can see there is a better way. There is a better way. You know, war is over if you want it, John Lennon sang a long time ago. So
well, he was a big fan of Reagan, right? I mean, the Reagan era is probably one of the, even though there was, you know, the cocaine era as well, but the streets were much better coming out of the 70s, which was a disaster, right? We saw these cities just turn into horrendous war zones, people dying, drugs, violence, all that kind of stuff. And then we went into a period where things were better, not perfect, but way better. And I think Trump's just trying to accent that even higher, right? He says, we don't have to have any of this anymore without being a fascist. And that's the thing. People say, well, he's a fascist by using force. Yeah, he's using force against people who want to commit illegal activities against you. Yeah. So they're okay to be charged and go to jail for doing what they're doing. We don't do liberal activist judge stuff as go kill somebody and throw them back on the streets in 24 hours for them to just do it all over again for their 56th time being in and out of jail. Like that's what he's going up against. And let's look at some of the little things Trump's done. If he's such a fascist, I mean, who are the ones that brought in you had to take your shoes off in an airport, for crying out loud? Because one clown apparently got through with a bomb in his shoe, and all of a sudden everyone had to pull your shoes off when you go through TSA.
You've been through it. I've been through it. Yeah.
The first president is Trump, who just said, no, we're not doing that anymore. Keep your shoes on. Right now you can wear your shoes through line again. So things are actually getting better, not more restrictive that we saw under the progressives. We're seeing things open up where people are going to be freer, safer, and the way it is. Exciting times. Again, looking enviously across the border from the China controlled globalist stronghold of Canada.
It's FUBAR here, right? Fucked up beyond all reason. All right, so let's while we're doing the American picture, let's do Epstein. I'd like to cover the Epstein article. Trump's made some comments about what's happening. You know, I'm always dealing with my liberal pals, and they're going, "What about Epstein?" Because they're being, what do you call it? Gaslighted by the leftist media. You know, it's Epstein, right? This is where it's all happening. So Trump came out again at today's a press conference where he made this announcement, World Cup, and they were asking him about Epstein and, what's your position on this? So Trump answers, I thought it was a brilliant answer. Trump on Jeffrey Epstein. Bill Clinton was on his plane and went to the island supposedly 28 times. But I don't want to bring that up. She's just laughing her head up. Make her big, play the clip.
The department is also sending some of the Epstein files over to the House Oversight Committee today. Are you in support of them releasing all of them?
Keeping it open.
If they wanted to release,
people shouldn't be hurt, but I'm in support of keeping it totally open. I couldn't care less. You got a lot of people that it could be mentioned in those files that don't deserve to be. People, because he knew everybody in Palm Beach. I don't know anything about that, but I have said to Pam and everybody else, give them everything you can give them, because it's a Democrat hoax. It's just a hoax. The whole Epstein thing is a Democrat hoax. So we had the greatest 6 months, 7 months in the history of the presidency, and the Democrats don't know what to do, so they keep bringing up that stuff. But it affected them. Bill Clinton was on his plane and went to the island supposedly 28 times. I don't want to bring that up, frankly. You have Larry, whatever his name is, Summers, the head of Harvard, who was Jeffrey Epstein's best friend. Nobody ever talks about that. I mean, but I don't want to hurt Larry Summers. But he was best friends with Jeffrey Epstein.
But he mentions
this is
it
a
anyway.
Democratic hoax to try and get the significance of what we've done over the past 7 months. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. They say it's #1 in history. What we've done, including stopping 7 wars. I mean, just include that. And now you look at the stock market today. It's way up to start off with from where I took it.
Rocketing
And this
up.
market was going to crash. If Joe Biden or Kamala were president, this market we would have had a crash like in 1929. You're not going to have that. It's only a question of how high is it going to go. You know, I had the strongest economy in the history of our country. And despite COVID, we had the strongest economy in the history of our country. And we're going to blow it away this time. I was always good at making a lot of money. And whether it was for myself or whether it was, I like doing it this way better. I mean, I like making it for the country. Our country's been ripped off by friend and foe, nations all over the world ripped off. And the friends have been much worse than the foes for the most part.
Dig it, Carney.
They're not ripping us off. We just signed a deal with the European Union. They're paying us essentially $950 billion.
Okay,
Like
put pause on this.
buy
But scroll
750.
down in the article, and the first comment, one of the individuals there makes a really nice comment about what the comment is. When Trump says it's a hoax, he's not talking that Epstein was hoax or that there was shenanigans, child abuse, all that kind of nonsense. Keep scrolling down. Oh, hold on. No, I'm sorry. Maybe it is that comment right there. Yeah, it's the first one. I'll make it big for everybody. This is what Trump means when he says the Epstein hysteria is a Democrat hoax. They leaked the internal DOJ memo in an attempt to overshadow and sabotage what is coming. So what happens is that they're trying to deflect, trying to wrap Trump up in something that he's not involved with. That's the hoax part. But the fact that there was criminality there from these other people, like Bill Clinton on the plane 28 times on the island, Trump was never. Clarification for everyone.
It was probably the equivalency of the Democrats' attempt to do their own battle of the bulge, last throw of everything they could to try and stop side change. Yeah.
So clarification for everyone. When he says hoax, he's saying the fact that all the libs are calling for it to be released because they think Trump is in the files. They're calling for the files to be released instead of giving credit for the last few amazing months we've had and continue to have, and they're getting better every day. That's the hoax, not the Epstein files themselves. Liv sat on this for 4 years, cared nothing about it until they heard there's a chance Trump may be mentioned. The fact that libs even care about the files is the hoax. Do you get it? Or do you understand? So Trump has nothing to fear. And he just reiterated, I've given Pam Bondi the green light, release it all. Even though some innocent people are going to get their names smirched and muddied up because they're, Epstein was a player and a lot of people were involved with the guy through legitimate means as well as it's not that Epstein's satanically, it's Satan personified in every single moment of every single day. I'm just up to doing evil works. The guy could go play around at tennis.
Yeah.
He was still human. Let's go play tennis. And so, Bill Johnson, from, some mortgaging house decides to go over and play tennis with the guy. And suddenly his name's all smirched up and the wife's going, what the hell were you doing playing tennis with that bastard? All this kind of thing, right?
Apparently that's how the story goes, is how Bill Gates and Melinda broke up, was over his relationship with Epstein as well.
Yeah, well, Bill Gates is a whole different other.
Yeah, he's got creepy, slimy guy all over him. Yeah.
Yeah. There's something going on there. Okay, so let's go. We were talking about Trump's going. Some of our friends have been worse than our enemies. Let's go to tariffs. Eric Daughtry did a post on the tariffs. This thing just started making me laugh right away. It's all so freaking predictable, Blake. It's so predictable. There's no surprises here. Basically, what's happened, folks, is Canada, Blake and I are sadly Canadian. in 2025. If I could get the hell out of here, boy, oh boy, I would. I would so go to the U.S. Nice red state, by the way. Okay, here's what we go. I love the picture, Jam. Breaking in a stunning blow to the, quote, experts, Canada is removing retaliatory tariffs on the United States. President Trump has won again.
Love the photo. Look at the photo.
Yeah, it's victory, sweet victory. So, Blake, I'll let you speak to it. Did you follow the story? Do you know what we've done in terms of what we've taken off and what?
I don't know the specific list of all the tariffs, but Canada, starting with under Trudeau, just before Trudeau, when he was standing as our interim, or I guess he was the prime minister until the Liberals elected Carney. And I say the Liberals elected Carney because he became prime minister without even holding a seat. But essentially there was retaliatory tariffs immediately mentioned to deal with Trump's tariff. Trump said, don't raise your tariffs against it, because if you do, I'm going to just double it again. So he lived up to that to pressure Canada, and then soon as Trudeau's tariffs, Carney's tariffs, which is one and the same thing. Everybody needs to stop thinking Carney was separate. The media here and its propagandists are run by our federal government, which is the Liberal government. He was his top advisor through all of his administration. So Carney was there the whole time. So I think the point is that these tariffs, Trump beat them, said, listen, if you want to negotiate tariffs, Carney called them. Carney just gave a speech with a bunch of nonsense, gobbledygook, nebulous language, meaningless.
Hockey terms. He talks hockey.
Yeah, just playing, without actually saying what it is. Where Trump's much more, hey, this is what I'm going to do. Boom. That's what happens.
Yeah, and Trump doesn't couch the language. He just says.
But the media made it sound like Trump, Carney put a phone call into Trump. They had an important phone call. It was grovel phone call from Carney. I need to do something. My polls are collapsing in Canada. And apparently they got the tariffs pulled down, the retaliatory tariffs, which is good for Canadians, for crying out loud. It reduces the cost on those items in Canada. So now they can talk and get a negotiated settlement. But that's
Canada got into a fight it had no hope of winning. It got into a fight with a bigger, tougher opponent, and Trump could sit there at his leisure. Trump holds all the cards. They got no cards. Canada had no hand to play. They had to fold.
Canada was the featherweight trying to go into a heavyweight ring.
Yeah, it was only a matter of time. It was only a matter of time.
Yeah.
And so this is great again for Trump. Again, it's the economic squeeze on Canada. Blake, do you want to explain? And basically, Sue puts it out here. Here's what the details on it were. Basically, he was forced to drop retaliatory tariffs on the CUSMA compliant goods. This was already an agreement in place. America played by the American ambassador. We showed that a few episodes ago on the show here, and they didn't stop any of their America played fair. They didn't punish Canada and any of that stuff. It was sacrosanct. But Canada, in its infinite foolhardiness, decided to punish America by violating the CUSMA agreement and taxing on goods that should have been protected. And Trump can play that game better than Canada can. Canada, hit your knees, grovel away because you've lost. You've lost.
Yeah.
And now, and Poilievre's no better. I'm watching a lot of talk in Canada about Poilievre saying, oh, he would have been Poilievre's criticizing Carney for not playing tougher with Trump. Listen, Poilievre, you moron. Nobody can play tough with Trump. He will kick your ass. Canada is not in the same class as this guy. Like Blake said, we're a bunch of panty waists trying to play in the big leagues. This guy kick your ass and get you clear across town. It's like
we didn't even show up for the big meeting over Russia and Ukraine. I mean,
we're at the kids' table. We're at the kids' table. Carney and Doug Ford were just having a little jerk-off party. Eating hot dogs at the little kids' table. But here's the deal: is like with Trump, it's like you're so right, Blake. Canada is just outmatched. We've got that graphic of gross domestic product versus America. We don't have open hell. So talk to me about the American squeeze, the economic squeeze. Do you think this is going to move us closer? Is Carney still playing a role? Because that's a pet theory that you've been advocating, and I'm sympathetic to it, very sympathetic.
My theory is based on the end of the Laurentian elite controlling Canada, but they want to do a soft change so that they can move their assets to be protected. And when I say the Laurentian elite, just so people understand, this is the old guard of Canadian industrialists who basically control and have monopolized most of the major industries in Canada and have legislated protections. This is what Trump's complaining about. But we have to understand, this is the BS that the media ran as they're paid to be propagandists in Canada for the Liberal Party. But and they're owned in a lot of ways by these same establishment Laurentian elitists in Canada. But we weren't the only country that was, the United States was the only country complaining about Canada's monopolies. We even had New Zealand complaining about Australia. Europe didn't like some of Canada's monopolies. They wanted to play fair and the free trade, and Canada still maintains a lot of these monopolies that don't allow foreign countries to compete here. But we're allowed to compete freely in their market. So this is what Trump says when he talks about it's unfair. Canada's been riding an unfair advantage on trade for a long time. Plus, we have the currency advantage. We purposely, by these Laurentian elites, have declined our value in currency so that we maintain a position of strength over our resources to sell them cheap to the United States and other parts of the world. When our dollar was $1.10, over the U.S. in 2008-9, when there was the big subprime crash and the financial crash, Canada's dollar was worth more. Canada struggled, but everybody else enjoyed it because they were like, "Why stuff got cheap? All their food got cheap, everything cheap." So this is what I think is happening. I think Carney, because he's an asset manager, Brookfield, he's $1 trillion company, I believe moved to, there it is, Mark Dixon, moved Brookfield to the United States in October, just before he ran as an official candidate. So it was already pre-planned. He was anointed as the leader. Let's call for that. They even removed two major leadership candidates who were winning potentially in the race, removed them both, disqualified them for really no reason. And essentially he's been installed as the asset manager to, I believe, to move Canada into a true economic union with the United States once and for all. It's going to happen. It just couldn't happen overnight. And the lefty lunatics that vote elbows up in Canada would never have allowed a conservative government to do that. They would not have done. There would have been riots in the streets. But they will support Carney no matter what he says because they're being told to by their leftist media.
And so
I think he's going to bring that into fruition. That's what's happening here. I believe because he's part of the Larry Fink crowd and everybody knows Larry Fink. He's the head of BlackRock. You got
the guy that had Penthouse magazine. He was in a old wheelchair or something.
Well, and I think Trump's he's got those guys reined in a bit because they were all into their globalism now. And now I think he's got them convinced that America is the direction to go. And they're money guys. They want to bring where the money is.
All right. Well, let's talk money here. Let's scroll up, Sue, for the headline up there. Scroll her up for me.
Yeah.
The other way.
So this is where it's headed. Canada needs to do this, needs to follow it. And we've got obviously big news today. And I think Trump arm wrestling even Jerome Powell to saying we're going to look to drop the rates. So if that happens, this is going to be a huge change.
All right. So what we have here, Canada's Brookfield moved its headquarters. This was before the federal election. So this is a point you've raised before, Blake, that Carney took his big bucks and moved them stateside. So much for I love Canada, I'm buying beaver pelts. I'm investing in moose meat and beaver pelts and hockey sticks. No, none of that. We're going to put the money where it really matters, right into America, because it's the engine. As Trump says, the economy's so hot.
His own personal asset portfolio, not talking about Brookfield, but his own money and investments. Over 90% of it is invested into U.S. futures. He's got everything into U.S. stocks.
He loves
and then
America.
The rest is Europe, and 0.3% of his entire portfolio is in Canada.
Yeah. That's perfect. I just love it. You know, that the investments put into the States, but you know, it's kind of smart to do. Let's turn again, or while we're in Canada a little bit, there's a story that we followed. We got some sad story to cover. Remember the ostrich farm? We covered that.
Yeah, they're back.
A month or so ago, the ostriches are back on the news. Can you grab that one? So Drea Humphreys from Rebel News have been on it. Lovely girl, black girl, by the way, which is always nice when you got a conservative black girl working for the team. Drea Humphrey, breaking ostrich farm news. I've just been informed by the farm that after a month of deliberating, the Federal Court of Appeal has unanimously dismissed the good guys case against the cult. A sad day for freedom in Carney's Canada interview on what's next coming soon. So essentially what happened here is the British Columbia government felt that these ostriches needed to be all culled, put to death, because they had bird flu and they were endangering the population. A year ago.
They're all fine now.
But the birds are cleared. They are not ill. There's no problem with the birds whatsoever. But the government, in their draconian bullshit, dictatorial, dare I say fascist, dare I say communist, autocratic, heavy-hammered, heavy-fisted ways, have decided we're going to kill them anyway. It's an absolute disgrace. Fuck Canada. Fuck the government. I absolutely can't stand it.
Well, there's a big story behind that. That even RFK Jr. apparently got involved in.
He did, yeah.
And that was because those ostriches actually gained herd immunity from avian flu, which means scientists could get in there and learn how these ostriches gained herd immunity and could be used to end or vaccinate all birds from this horrible avian flu, from destroying entire chickens. Like if you get one of them in your chickens, they annihilate every single chicken. Yeah. That's what it was happening under the Biden administration. They were annihilating entire livestocks.
Yeah, and then the egg prices went, and people went, "Why the hell are egg prices so
$20 for 12 eggs?"
Because you killed all the frickin' chickens, you morons.
Yeah.
Okay, so Blake, this is a huge story. This will absolutely flabbergast our American cousins, because they're going to go, "What? They'll do what the hell?"
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, prosecutors allege that Jeremy McDonald, the Lindsay, Ontario man who was arrested for defending himself in his home from an armed intruder, used a knife, a kitchen knife, as it turns out, in the altercation, thereby putting his attacker's life at risk. So to give you full context here, it's that what happened. This guy's, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. The guy's asleep in bed. He's minding his own fucking business in his own house. A psycho, drugged out idiot comes in with repeat offender, professional criminal, bearing a crossbow weapon with 2 other thugs helping him out, are invading this guy's house. He gets in a scuffle. He's defending his house and property from these assholes. And it's the guy, the homeowner, is wakened from a sound sleep by these criminals to defend himself. He's the guy that gets arrested.
He's been charged with 2 counts of assault. So he's going to have to go to trial and defend himself. This is Canada. It's unfreaking believable.
There's a great video, if you can find it, Sue. It's a video showing a Florida sheriff saying what you do about dealing with somebody breaking your house, and then the Canadian officer.
Our version of it,
and you're seeing it. It's just fantastic. But
compare and contrast. Yeah.
What's absolutely shows the contrast between freedom versus tyranny. Tyranny is allowing a criminal element to rule over you, and that somehow you can't protect yourself. And here's what the Canadian what they're trying to say is that you have to act proportionately in these situations. I'm sorry, somebody breaking into my house, I'm not going to analyze the proportionate nature of my attack onto defending myself on a criminal in my house and it's potentially going to hurt my kids, hurt my wife. I'm going to grab any weapon at my disposal and I'm going to put those people down as quick as I can. If that, they're going to put me down. So I'm not going to take the chance. Now, you never win a war by proportionate. All this liberal bullshit, you can't win a war. This is the same philosophy they tell Israel. Israel, you need to fight a proportionate war against Hamas. No, crush them with overwhelming power. That's how you win a war. And
That's how you do war. Breaking.
The same thing you deal with a guy breaking into your house. Crush him with overwhelming. Like if he walks in with a knife, you pull a gun. That's just how it works. If you have a gun, use it. You have to do it to defend yourself in your own home. And a matter of fact, this is something Harper even had in place. He brought it in to allow to defend shopkeepers as well, that you can use lethal force if you're at, and then all of a sudden liberals came in and ended that.
This may be what you were referencing earlier.
No, it's the same situation.
Same situation, Breaking Sheriff, Manatee County, Florida, held a press conference praising a local man who shot and eliminated an illegal alien who broke into his home. I praise his husband for doing what he needed to do to protect his home and protect his family. If you're going to be that brazen to come into my home, you should expect you're going to be shot. Sheriff Rick Wells quote. Can we clone this sheriff and put him charge everywhere? Please do. There's the sheriff. You scroll up, we'll just show him. There he is. Look at this guy. What a hero. I love this. I mean, this is just pure common sense, right? Pure common sense.
Yeah, I like when he talks about how the fact that you know, I'd rather you just put those guys away permanently. You're going to save us a lot of money and time. Who writes these laws where anybody in any circumstance has a right to invade somebody else? You're a married guy. You got kids. You're the guy. You got grandchildren. You're an upstanding citizen. And if some frickin' idiot comes into your place to cause harm to you or your family, I say you should be able to fuck him up in any way you see fit. Because as soon as you enter the threshold of a house where you're not invited, where you don't, and your intent is to do harm, you are persona non grata at that point, and all your civil rights disappear as soon as you cross that threshold. Or as soon as you stand outside that threshold on that property with a shotgun or whatever else you've brought to the party to do harm. It's common sense. Justice has fled the land. It's a tragedy. It's an outrage. Yeah.
It's absolutely reprehensible. It's mind-numbing. It's liberalism on acid.
Yeah.
Absolutely nonsense. And they've got to change the law. I
think the only qualifying side to proportionate, what they mean by that in the spirit of it, if a couple hikers are crossing some land that happens privately owned, don't go and shoot the hikers who may have crossed your boundary and you're mad about that. That's that's supposed to stop. Somebody just shooting somebody for trespassing across your lawn or across your.
Sorry, mister. I'm stealing your crab apples.
It's a whole different thing. But in this case, when your life's in danger, I mean, when you got one of the top cops in Ontario telling people, just leave your fobs at the front door. So when they break in, they'll just steal your car fob. And
wasn't that like in Toronto or something, Blake?
Yeah, it was a complete clown. They just want your car. No, maybe they don't. You can't prove that. You're not there. You don't know their intent. They might want to take all my cash. They might want to rape my wife. They might want to kill me because they're drugged out. Who knows? Right? And
of course, the contrast to this, or another story that broke, and I didn't bring the clip up, or the story is too horrific to really go into detail. Suffice to say, some bad guys broke into a woman's apartment, same Ontario scene, and they set her on fire. Okay, They set her on fire, and I assume she's dead. I can only assume she's dead. She was at home. Again, a late night attack thing. They said it was a drug deal. whatever, but it's just the whole nature. It was just horrific. Something's got to be done. I live in Tennessee. A pistol is basically an accessory. You don't even need a permit.
Freedom.
The great state of
down and out Nashville.
well, yeah, attaboy, attaboy, Tennessee, right? Let's right. Some good news coming out of England. This is a story that Wolfie brought up. Not Wolfie, excuse me. I love Wolfie, but 4D brought this one up, and I'm going to go to it now. This is a great story out of England. Okay, I'm almost on it. Bear with me. Here we go. Lucy, I forget her last name. This is a woman that was thrown in jail for 11 months for a mean tweet, a mean post on the X platform in England. I think she said something about a wood chipper for certain individuals that are after young girls, with all the rapiness. Don't get rapey, friends. And so with all that, so she had harsh words, and those harsh words got her sentenced to 11 months in prison in the UK. Thank God she's been released. She should never have been put in jail for that offense. Yeah. Speak your mind, people. There's nothing wrong with it. Anyway, Lucy's out of jail. Lucy's out of jail with diamonds. A big Beatles fan. I love Beatles. She's also talking to America about UK's free speech threat. American politicians are interested in this. The Trump administration is looking at this. State Department. I do believe that J.D. Vance is a name that's been mentioned as being spoken directly or directly involved as a help as an advocate in this situation.
Now here's some good news.
Yeah, so that's really good news.
Here's some more good news.
Okay, we're ready for more good news. It's the future's so bright.
Let's keep it rolling.
I love the sun when it's a Teletubby, but it's Trump is a little figure in the sun as a Teletubby character. All right, yeah, Teletubby sun. Okay, this is good. This is from The Guardian. Michael Schellenberger. I love him. I'm a Schellenberger, by the way, folks. This guy's like my cousin. But anyway. In response to, quote, fact checkers, Facebook last year banned Epoch Times for saying that Arctic sea ice wasn't declining. But Epoch Times was time, or Epoch Times was right. Even The Guardian now admits it. Zuckerberg, you owe an apology to everyone you censored. Dramatic slowdown in melting ice of Arctic sea ice surprises the scientists. I love that they're surprised. Imagine my shock, as Paul Joseph Watson, the great Paul Joseph Watson says. Climate change. We get, if we talk about that on this platform, often you'll get a little note up top, if we talk about it to any extent. It's another one of YouTube's favorite little non-topics. You're not allowed to mock or bring into question any of the, what do you call it, settled science and all this. And of course, nothing settled.
You can't say that solar flares affect the climate on Earth.
Oh, be careful.
You can't have science like that.
No. This is another big story that's happening out of England. Tommy Robinson talking about it. Of course, Tommy Robinson, I got to give props to Tommy. That guy's been vilified. He's been imprisoned. The full weight of the British judicial system has come down on this guy. They had him in solitary confinement, of all things.
Some guy tried to attack him and he knocked him out just recently. Yeah, and actually, I think that was a setup. I do believe that was a setup.
Yeah, the guy was in his face. And anyway, it's really. I hope she's allowed to attend. September 13th, there is going to be a protest. And there is another thing happening in England. Can you do the picture, Sue? It's called like the flags protest. Do flags protest England or flags protest UK? Oh, yeah. It's happening in Ireland. It's happening in Scotland. People are drawing St. George's cross. God bless St. George. I believe he was like an Arab or something. But anyway, he's the patron saint of the English, the Anglo-Saxon mother's son. John Lennon.
The indigenous people of the UK, you mean?
Yeah, just get one with a beautiful.
Are they protected under UDRIP as well?
As soon as they should be, right? As soon as they drop, the government's been pulling down these flags. Sadiq Khan, that idiot, and they're bringing down the flags. People are raising the Union Jack, the flag of the Union, the red, white, and blue, and in addition, St. George's Cross. And you just love to see it. And it's happening in Ireland with the Irish flag, and in Scotland with the Scottish flag. And I couldn't be more proud of my UK ancestry. I'm sure you feel the same way, Blake. But this is the kind of thing we're talking about. I just love it. You love to see it. The story is as predictable as it is pathetic. British citizens hang their national flag for lampposts, so it's been dubbed Operation Raise the Colors, causing the progressive establishments to shriek racism like Victorian ladies spotting ankles at a beach. Mercy, my purse. But isn't that a wonderful thing?
Yeah.
So people are flying the colors in England, and it's just, and the government's doing it, and patriots are out there. As soon as they pull them down, they're pulling it out, and it's a tinderbox over there. People are saying England is on the verge of something absolutely revolutionary happening there, that there is a lot of grassroots. And if England, if the administration, if the authorities, if the establishment was angry and worried about Tommy Robinson before, they've got double the beast to deal with, and double the beast when you got Lucy Connolly, I believe the lady's name is. When you got somebody like that who you've imprisoned and you've done everything short of putting them to death. And now they're out to speak again. And God bless Tommy Robinson. That guy has not backed down. Not one whit. He's still going full frontal assault, pointing out hypocrisy, pointing out abuses, pointing out problems with the British administration. I couldn't be more proud of the guy. Balls of steel, Tommy Robinson. Blake?
Yeah. Well, and it bang on. I mean, this is the kind of thing that we're seeing in all of Western civilization, the collapse or the attack, and now the counteraction, rebellion against it by progressives. It's like the progressives don't read history. You should learn how you can turn somebody into a martyr really quick by arresting them and going after them on a popular topic that's going to defend them. You are going to turn them into cultural heroes, and now you're going to lose that war in the end. But the progressives are crazy. They're stupid people. They keep doing the same thing over. The very thing they fought against is the very thing they've become. They have become the fascists. We are the baddies, right?
Yeah.
That's exactly what they've become. And they don't see it that way yet. And the last vestiges of them are going to leave. But we see this in Canada. We see it in the UK. We see it in Europe, that hanging your own national flag has become a crime or a symbol of white nationalism or whatever they want to mask it as a parade around. Yet it's totally fine to hang flags of Palestine all over your buildings. There was recently in Victoria a big Canadian flag that was put up and on the legislative, and it got torn down. Right? How dare somebody put a Canadian flag on the legislative building in Victoria? And it's yet they were allowing people to put up Hamas flags basically and parading around with their, and then we've had Pride flag month years now. I mean, never ends. Yeah. And if anybody puts up a flag about your own country, about pride, there's your real pride is in your country. That gets completely demolished by these guys. But yeah, Tommy Robinson's been a cultural hero, and he's been turned into a martyr. And that's how you lose a fight. You turn somebody into a martyr, you're finished. That's it. You've got the population behind him because you're trying to do something that the population will not accept. So I think he's doing everything. He's trying to protect the indigenous people of England, for crying out loud. And of all you progressives that are all behind the protecting indigenous peoples of North America and New Zealand, you should have the equal, and using your terminology, proportionate values that should be shared for people in Wales or UK or Scotland or Ireland or Germany or Sweden or wherever. They should have the same protections, but you don't seem to care about that. They're not allowed to have those protections.
So, it's interesting. Listen, there's the culture wars. They're still ongoing. Canada's interesting. With this one, I'll just show this one. And then, we'll think about wrapping up for today. But I just want to share this one. Statue of pagan Hindu monkey god Sends us a bull to front to every Canadian with temples already in Canada. They go, well, why raise such idols? Is this India's strategy to assert dominance over the West? A calculated move to infiltrate the Christian world, spark conversions. What's the idea? But there they've got, Krishna stomping on top of Jesus. Like, he hasn't been stomped on by everything. And then there's Monkey God over here in Toronto. He's like 50 feet tall or something. You can't have your Johnny MacDonald. And for American friends, Johnny MacDonald is the first prime minister, kind of like George Washington. He's our George Washington, our first president, our first prime minister, Johnny MacDonald. So they're putting him in a box. Meanwhile, we got monkey gods being erected, 50-foot tall monkey gods are being erected in Ontario. It's absolutely nuts. But this is what we're up against here. As the progressive interest march ever onward. But I love America. I love the fact that the Trump administration is pushing back. We're seeing huge victories. This John Bolton story is just one of them. Blake, what do you? There's a question for Blake to take on.
I thought we answered that one last one. We talked about that, but yeah, essentially, I don't care what the NFL wants to do. If it wants to lose viewership and all that, that's their choice. But as far as I'm concerned, have at her. I don't even watch the cheerleaders, anyways. It's not even an interest to me. I like watching football.
Yeah. It's just kind of crazy. There's nothing wrong with male cheerleaders. They've been around forever. It's just that the new cheerleaders are trying to gay them up. So they're moving around like the ladies. Yeah. They're shaking their little titties and their little rumps are just shimmering. It's just so exciting. But anyway, that so goes the NFL. Like Blake says, it's their money. If you want to, lose viewers,
or as Down and Out Nashville just said. Good point. If they want to Bud Light themselves, go for it.
Bud Light or Cracker Barrel. Cracker Barrel's about to feel the pain. Yeah. Blake, thank you so much for being here. Any stories that we haven't covered that you want to just address before we go, or you're good to go?
No, I think we're good. We'll be back next week on Tuesday. Looking forward to it. I'll be back home, and I won't be on the road.
So, folks, in the meantime, please give us a thumbs up on the program, share the video, like it, subscribe, all that stuff. You know what to do. We'll be back on Tuesday, and Patreons tonight. We got a show Patreon. So 4:00 I'll be on. $5 it costs to join my Patreon. Blake, you don't have a Patreon for all you got a lot of subscribers over on YouTube. You should think, on the Facebook, you should think about doing a Patreon. Make some extra.
Zuckerberg doesn't like to share the wealth very easily. So.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Anyway, folks, you like that, support it. We need money first. Beatles talking about singing. Thanks, everybody. We love you.